Welcome to Have You Read It? The channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Today, we're diving into David Eagleman's fascinating book, Incognito, The Secret Lives of the Brain. This book takes us on a journey into the depths of our minds, revealing the hidden, unconscious processes that drive our thoughts, behaviors, and experiences. Eagleman, a renowned neuroscientist, explores how our brains operate far beyond our conscious awareness. Incognito is a valuable and unique read because it challenges our conventional understanding of ourselves. It unveils the surprising truth that our conscious minds are not the all-powerful rulers we believe them to be. Instead, they are more like passengers on a ship, taking credit for the journey while remaining largely unaware of the massive engine room humming beneath. Eagleman begins by introducing the astonishing complexity of the brain, emphasizing that it is the most intricate structure we've discovered in the universe. He illustrates this with the sheer number of neurons and connections, highlighting that each neuron is as complex as a city. He stresses that most of our brain activity occurs without our conscious knowledge or control. He likens our conscious mind to a stowaway on a steamship, taking credit for the journey without acknowledging the massive engineering underfoot. To elaborate, consider an experiment where men were shown photographs of women with dilated or non-dilated eyes. The men consistently preferred the women with dilated eyes, yet they were unaware of why, illustrating how unconscious processes influence our choices without our explicit knowledge. Eagleman introduces the concept of change blindness, demonstrating how little of our surroundings we actually perceive. He explains that our brains filter information, focusing only on what's deemed important and filling in the rest. He uses the example of a magician's trick, noting that magicians exploit the limitations of our attention to create illusions right before our eyes. Also consider the fact that our vision is far less detailed than we assume. Our peripheral vision is poor, and we are often unaware of the boundaries of our visual field. Eagleman discusses visual illusions to show how our brains actively construct our perception of reality. The multistable cube, which can be seen from two different perspectives, demonstrates that our brains are not passively recording the world, but actively interpreting it. He also explores the phenomenon of the blind spot, where our brains fill in missing information to create a seamless visual field. According to Eagleman, our brains make unconscious inferences based on past experiences, further shaping our perceptions. Our sense of touch, hearing, and even time are all constructions of the brain, emphasizing that our subjective experience is not a direct reflection of reality. The book highlights the concept of sensory substitution, where the brain can learn to interpret information from one sense through another, such as seeing with the tongue or feeling vibrations on the back. To the brain, it doesn't matter where the data comes from, just that it's consistent and relevant. Eagleman then discusses the gap between what our brains know and what our conscious minds can access. He uses the example of changing lanes while driving, a task we perform effortlessly but cannot explain in detail. He also discusses the expertise of chicken sexers and airplane spotters, who can perform complex tasks without conscious awareness of how they do it. This is related to procedural memory, where our brains hold knowledge we can't explicitly tap into. Implicit biases, such as racism, reveal the hidden depths of our unconscious attitudes. The implicit association test demonstrates that we can harbor unconscious biases that contradict our conscious beliefs. Eagleman explains how implicit egotism influences our preferences, from the letters in our names to the products we buy. Even the first letter of a name can influence a life partner. The book discusses how our brains can be subtly manipulated through priming, where exposure to certain stimuli can influence our future behavior without our awareness. He also covers the illusion of truth effect, where we are more likely to believe something is true if we've heard it before, regardless of its actual veracity. The book further discusses the power of hunches and gut feelings. A study involving card games revealed that our autonomic nervous system can pick up on patterns and make advantageous decisions before our conscious minds are even aware of them. He touches on what happens when hunches break down and what is required to make advantageous decisions. In the end, The information was delivered in the form of a hunch. Subjects began to choose the good decks, even before they could consciously say why. The book also makes the distinction between people with prosopagnosia, to demonstrate how the system can break entirely and still function. In the later parts of the book, Eagleman explores how a robot won Wimbledon. Conscious thought is detrimental to most tasks, but can be helpful in training the robot. The point is that it becomes automatized, and that's the skill. It is also explained that these mechanisms have led to certain kinds of thoughts we can think, and whole categories of thoughts we cannot. He gives the example of a frog not being attracted to a human body, or vice versa, or a baby joey eating fecal matter. Expanding further, he introduces the concept of umwelt, the unique sensory world of each species, highlighting how our perception of reality is limited by our biology and our understanding of the world. Further, the concept shows us what we call vision might not actually exist for other human beings. The book also shows that human instincts are tools in our toolbox, and the more we have, the more adaptable we can be. It then gives a final emphasis to the idea that the brain is a team of rivals. With Mel Gibson as an example, he demonstrates that we all contain multitudes. He also gives the examples of chicken sexes and spotters as a demonstration of this point. Finally, a point is made about balancing reason and emotion. There is an inherent tension between the two, and the trolley dilemma displays this issue clearly. With all points understood, the book lands on the issues of blame and blameworthiness, and what makes us that way. So, what are the key takeaways from Incognito? Let's break it down into some memorable insights. Consciousness is just the tip of the iceberg. Most of what happens in our brains is beyond our awareness. And that's a good thing. Our perception of reality is a construction. Our brains actively create the world we experience, filling in gaps and making assumptions along the way. We are a team of rivals. Our brains are composed of competing factions, constantly battling for control of our thoughts and actions. The question of blameworthiness is more complex than we think. Our biology plays a significant role in our behavior, challenging our traditional notions of free will and responsibility. In conclusion, Incognito, The Secret Lives of the Brain reveals that our conscious awareness is just the tip of the iceberg, with vast unseen neural processes shaping our thoughts and actions. Eagleman challenges our intuitive understanding of ourselves, urging us to embrace the complexity and mystery of the brain's hidden operations. He leaves us with a profound sense of wonder and a call to question the very nature of who we think we are. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.